Tokyo, A. Officially the Tokyo metropolis. B. Is the capital and most populous city in Japan. With a population of over 14 million in the city proper in 2023, it is one of the most populous urban areas in the world. The Greater Tokyo area, which includes Tokyo and parts of 6 neighboring prefectures, is the most populous metropolitan area in the world, with 41 million residents as of 2024. Lying at the head of Tokyo Bay, Tokyo is part of the Kanto region on the central coast of Honshu, Japan's largest island. It is Japan's economic center and the seat of the Japanese government and the Emperor of Japan. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government administers Tokyo's central 23 special wards, which formerly made up Tokyo City, various commuter towns and suburbs in its western area, and to outlying island chains, the Tokyo Islands. Although most of the world recognizes Tokyo as a city, since 1943 its governing structure has been more akin to that of a prefecture, with an accompanying governor and assembly taking precedence over the smaller municipal governments that make up the metropolis. Special wards in Tokyo include Kyoto, the site of the National Diet Building, and the Tokyo Imperial Palace, Shinjuku, the city's administrative center, and Shibuya, a hub of Tokyo, originally known as Edo, rose to political prominence in 1603 when it became the seat of the Tokugawa shogunate. And by the mid-18th century, Edo had evolved from a small fishing village into one of the largest cities in the world, with a population surpassing 1 million. After the Meiji Restoration 1868, the imperial capital in Kyoto was moved to Edo, and the city was renamed Tokyo Lit. Eastern capital. Tokyo was greatly damaged by the 1923 Great Kanto earthquake and by Allied bombing raids during World War II. Beginning in the late 1940s, Tokyo underwent rapid reconstruction and expansion, which fueled the Japanese economic miracle, in which Japan's economy became the second largest in the world at the time, behind that of the United States, 10 as of 2023. Tokyo is home to 29 of the world's 500 largest companies, as listed in the annual Fortune Global 500, the second highest number of any city, 11. Tokyo was the first city in Asia to host the Summer Olympics and Paralympics in 1964, and also hosted in 2021. It hosted 3 G7 summits in 1979, 1986, and 1993. Tokyo is an international hub of research and development and an academic center, with several major universities, including the University of Tokyo, the top-ranking university in Japan, 1213. Tokyo Station is the central hub for the Shinkansen, the country's high-speed railway network, and the city's Shinjuku Station is the world's busiest train station. Tokyo Skytree is the world's tallest tower, 14. The Tokyo Metro Ginza Line, which opened in 1927, is the oldest underground metro line in Asia, 15. Tokyo's nominal gross domestic output was 113.7 trillion yen, 1.04 trillion United States dollars in FY 2021 and accounted for 20.7% of Japan's economic output, which converts to 8.07 million yen or 73,820 United States dollars per capita. 16. Including the Greater Tokyo area, Tokyo is the second largest metropolitan economy in the world after New York, with a 2020 to gross metropolitan product estimated at 2.08 trillion United States dollars. Although Tokyo's status as a leading global financial hub has diminished with the lost decades since the 1990s, when the Tokyo Stock Exchange TSE was the world's largest, with a market capitalization about 1.5 times that of the NYSE 18. Tokyo is still a leading financial hub, and the TSE remains among the world's top 5 major stock exchanges. 19. Tokyo is categorized as an Alpha Plus city by the Globalization and World Cities Research Network. It ranked 14th in the 2024 edition of the Global Livability Ranking, 20, and has been ranked as the safest city in the world in multiple international surveys, 2120 to 2320 for 25. Tokyo was originally known as Edo, a kanji compound of e, cove, inlet, and 2, entrance, gate, door. 26. The name, which can be translated as estuary, is a reference to the original settlement's location at the meeting of the Sumida River and Tokyo Bay. During the Meiji Restoration in 1868, the name of the city was changed to Tokyo from T East and Kyo capital, when it became the new imperial capital. 27. In line with the East Asian tradition of including the word capital in the name of the capital city, for example, Kyoto, Kiju, Beijing, Nanjing, and Shijing. 26. During the early Meiji period, the city was sometimes called Tokei, an alternative pronunciation for the same characters representing Tokyo, making it a kanji homograph. Some surviving official English documents use the spelling Tokei. 28. However, this pronunciation is now obsolete. 29. The site of Tokyo has been inhabited since ancient times, and there have been multiple Paleolithic period around 40,000 to 16,000 BC sites found in present-day Tokyo. 30. During the subsequent Jomon period, the Holocene glacial retreat caused sea levels in Tokyo Bay to rise by 120 centimeters, with the coastline running along the edge of what is now the Imperial Palace. 31. Middens such as the Omori shell mounds still mark where the coastline ran in those days. 30. To the Yayoi period, during which agriculture spread across the country, is named after the Yayoi Tachome site in Bunkyo, where the first example of Yayoi pottery was excavated in 1880 for by Shozo Arisaka. 33. In 534, a large-scale conflict was recorded in the region, as a result of which Kasahara no Omi, the victor, was appointed Kuni no Miyatsuko provincial governor by Emperor Ang. Sensoji in Asakusa was founded in 645. Under the Ritsuryo system established during the Asuka period, most of present-day Tokyo was part of Musashi province. Following the fall of the kingdom of Baekje after the Battle of Bekgang in the 660s, thousands of refugees were resettled in Musashi. 35. During the Heian period, Edo was first fortified by the Edo clan in the late 12th century, and in 1457, Tta Doken built Edo Castle to defend the region from the Chiba clan. After Doken was assassinated in 1486, the Ogigaetsu branch of the Uesugi clan took control of the castle and the surrounding area. However, the later Hoj clan replaced them after the Battle of Takanowahara in 1524, only to be defeated by Toyotomi Hideyoshi during the Siege of Odawara in 1590. 36. Following the Siege of Odawara, Tokugawa Ieyasu was granted the Kanto region and moved there from his ancestral land of Mikawa province. When he became shogun, the de facto ruler of the country, in 1603, the whole country came to be ruled by Edo. While the Tokugawa shogunate ruled the country in practice, the imperial house of Japan based in Kyoto was still the de jure ruler, and the title of shogun was granted by the emperor as a formality. 37. 16. During the Edo period, the city enjoyed a prolonged period of peace known as the Pax Tokugawa, and in the presence of such peace, the shogunate adopted a stringent policy of seclusion, which helped to perpetuate the lack of any serious military threat to the city. 38. The absence of war-inflicted devastation allowed Edo to devote the majority of its resources to rebuilding in the wake of consistent fires, earthquakes, and other devastating natural disasters, and Edo grew into one of the largest cities in the world, with a population reaching 1 million by the 18th century. 39. However, this prolonged period of seclusion ended with the arrival of American Commodore Matthew C. Perry in 1853. Commodore Perry forced the opening of the ports of Shimoda and Hakodate, leading to an increase in the demand for new foreign goods and subsequently a severe rise in inflation. 40. Social unrest mounted in the wake of these higher prices and culminated in widespread rebellions and demonstrations, especially in the form of the smashing of rice establishments. 41. Meanwhile, supporters of the emperor leveraged the disruption caused by widespread rebellious demonstrations to further consolidate power, which resulted in the overthrow of the last Tokugawa shogun, Yoshinobu, in 1867 and the end of the Pax Tokugawa. 42. Despite Edo Castle being handed over to the emperor supporting forces, some forces loyal to the shogunate kept fighting, ending with the final Battle of Ueno on the 4th of July 1868. 43. 1868 to 1941 Main articles. Tokyo City and Tokyo Prefecture 1868 to 1943. After being handed over to the Meiji government, Edo was renamed Tokyo Eastern Capital on the 3rd of September 1868, and the capital was subsequently moved officially from Kyoto to Tokyo by Emperor Meiji. 45. The former Edo Castle became the new imperial palace, and government ministries, such as the Ministry of Finance, were relocated to Tokyo by 1871. 46. The 1870s also saw the establishment of other major institutions and facilities, such as Ueno Park 1873, the University of Tokyo 1877, and the Tokyo Stock Exchange 1878, as well as the rise of public transportation, such as the first railway line in the country, connecting Shimbashi Shiodome and Yokohama Sakurajacho. 47. The rapid modernization of the country was driven from Tokyo, with its business districts, such as Marunouchi filled with modern brick buildings, and the railway network serving as a means to help the large influx of labor force needed to keep the development of the economy. 48. The city of Tokyo was officially established on May 1, 1889. The Imperial Diet, the national legislature of the country, was established in Tokyo in 1889, and it has ever since been operating in the city. The Metropolitan Police Headquarters ablaze following the earthquake. The fire triggered by the earthquake caused fire horrors. On the 1st of September, 1923, the Great Kanto earthquake struck the city, and the earthquake and subsequent fire killed an estimated 105,000 citizens. The loss amounted to 37% of the country's economic output. 49. On the other hand, the destruction provided an opportunity to reconsider the planning of the city, which had changed its shape hastily after the Meiji Restoration. The high survival rate of concrete buildings promoted the transition from timber and brick architecture to modern, earthquake-proof construction. 50-51. The Tokyo Metro Ginza Line portion between Ueno and Asakusa, the first underground railway line built outside Europe and the American continents, was completed on December 30, 1927. 52. Although Tokyo recovered robustly from the earthquake and new cultural and liberal political movements, such as Taisho democracy, spread, the 1930s saw an economic downturn caused by the Great Depression and major political turmoil. 2 attempted military coups d'etat happened in Tokyo, the May 15th incident in 1932 and the February 26th incident in 1936. This turmoil eventually allowed the military wings of the government to take control of the country, leading to Japan joining the Second World War as an Axis power. Due to the country's political isolation on the international stage caused by its military aggression in China and the increasingly unstable geopolitical situations in Europe, Kei had to give up hosting the 1940 Summer Olympics in 1938. 53. Rationing started in June 1940 as the nation braced itself for another world war. While the 26th centenary of the enthronement of Emperor Emu celebrations took place on a grand scale to boost morale and increase the sense of national identity in the same year. On the 7th of December 1941, Japan attacked the American bases at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, entering the Second World War against the Allied powers. The wartime regime greatly affected life in the city. 54. In 1943, Tokyo City merged with Tokyo Prefecture to form the Tokyo Metropolis. Tokyo 2, a reorganization aimed to create a more centralized and efficient administrative structure to better manage resources, urban planning, and civil defense during wartime. 55. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government thus became responsible for both prefectural and city functions while administering cities, towns, and villages in the suburban and rural areas. Although Japan enjoyed significant success in the initial stages of the war and rapid expansion of its sphere of influence, the Doolittle Raid on the 18th of April 1940 to mark the first direct foreign attack on Tokyo. Although the physical damage was minimal, the raid demonstrated the vulnerability of the Japanese mainland to air attacks and boosted American morale. 56 large-scale Allied air bombing of cities in the Japanese home islands, including Tokyo, began in late 1944 when the U.S. seized control of the Mariana Islands. From these islands, newly developed long-range B-29 bombers could conduct return journeys. The bombing of Tokyo in 1944 and 1945 estimated to have killed between 75,000 and 200,000 civilians and left more than half of the city destroyed. 57. The deadliest night of the war came on March 9 to 10, 1945, the night of the American Operation Meeting House raid. 58 nearly 700,000 incendiary bombs were dropped on the east end of the city Shinamachi, an area with a high concentration of factories and working-class houses. 2/5 of the city was completely burned, more than 276,000 buildings were destroyed, 100,000 civilians were killed, and 110,000 more were injured. 5960 numerous Edo and Meiji-era buildings of historical significance were destroyed, including the main building of the Imperial Palace, Sensuji, Shuji, Sengakuji, and Kabukiza. Between 1940 and 1945, the population of Tokyo dwindled from 6,700,000 to less than 2,800,000, as soldiers were sent to the front and children were evacuated. 61. 1945 to 1972. Marunouchi in the 1950s. It was not until the height restriction was lifted in the 1960s that skyscrapers began to dominate the skyline of Tokyo. The 1964 Olympics in Tokyo symbolized the transition of the city from bombed-out ruins to a modern metropolis. After the war, Tokyo became the base from which the Allied occupation forces, under Douglas MacArthur, an American general, administered Japan for 6 years. The original rebuilding plan of Tokyo was based on a plan modeled after the Metropolitan Green Belt of London, devised in the 1930s but cancelled due to the war. 62. However, due to the monetary contraction policy known as the Dodge Line, named after Joseph Dodge, the neoliberal economic advisor to MacArthur, the plan had to be reduced to a minimal one focusing on transport and other infrastructure. In 1947, the 35 pre-war special wards were reorganized into the current 23 wards. Tokyo did not experience fast economic growth until around 1950, when heavy industry output returned to pre-war levels. 3762. Since around the time the Allied occupation of Japan ended in 1952, Tokyo's focus shifted from rebuilding to developing beyond its pre-war stature. From the 1950s onwards, Tokyo's metro and railway network saw significant expansion, culminating in the launch of the world's first dedicated high-speed railway line, the Shinkansen, between Tokyo and Osaka, 1964. The same year saw the development of other transport infrastructure, such as the Shudo Expressway, to meet the increased demand brought about by the 1964 Tokyo Olympics, the first Olympic Games held in Asia. Around this time, the 31-meter height restriction, imposed on all buildings since 1920, was relaxed due to the increased demand for office buildings and advancements in earthquake-proof construction. 63. Starting with the Kasumigaseki building 147 meters in 1968, skyscrapers began to dominate Tokyo's skyline. During this period of rapid rebuilding, Tokyo celebrated its 500th anniversary in 1956-64, and the Ogasawara Islands, which had been under control of the U.S. since the war ended, were returned in 1968. 65. Ryokichi Minobe, a Marxian economist who served as the governor for 12 years starting in 1967, is remembered for his welfare state policy, including free healthcare for the elderly and financial support for households with children, and his war against pollution policy, as well as the large government deficit they caused. 66. 1973 present. Shinjuku's development as a business district started in the... Although the 1973 oil crisis put an end to the rapid post-war recovery and development of Japan's economy. Its position as the world's second-largest economy at the time had seemed secure by that point, remaining so until 2010 when it was surpassed by China. 67. Tokyo's development was sustained by its status as the economic, political, and cultural hub of such a country. In 1978, after years of the intense Sanrizuka struggle, Narita International Airport opened as the new gateway to the city, while the relatively small Haneda Airport switched to primarily domestic flights. 68 West Shinjuku, which had been occupied by the vast Yodobashi Water Purification Center till 1965, became the site of an entirely new business district characterized by skyscrapers surpassing 200 meters during this period. 69. The American-led Plaza Accord in 1985, which aimed to depreciate the US dollar, had a devastating effect on Japan's manufacturing sector, particularly affecting small to mid-sized companies based in Tokyo. This led the government to adopt a domestic demand-focused economic policy, ultimately causing an asset price bubble. Land redevelopment projects were planned across the city, and real estate prices skyrocketed. By 1990, the estimated value of the Imperial Palace surpassed that of the entire state of California. 71. The Tokyo Stock Exchange became the largest stock exchange in the world by market capitalization, with the Tokyo-based NTT becoming the most highly valued company globally. 1872. The 2020 Olympics were postponed and held in 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. After the bubble burst in the early 1990s, Japan experienced a prolonged economic downturn called the Lost Decades, characterized by extremely low or negative economic growth, deflation, and stagnant asset prices. 73. Tokyo's status as a world city is said to have depreciated greatly during these 3 decades. Nonetheless, Tokyo still saw new urban developments during this period. Recent projects include Ibisu Garden Place, Tennozu Isle, Shiodome, Roppongi Hills, Shinagawa, and the Marunouchi side of Tokyo Station. Land reclamation projects in Tokyo have also been going on for centuries. The most prominent is the Odaiba area, now a major shopping and entertainment center. In the 1990s, various plans were proposed for transferring national government functions from Tokyo to secondary capitals in other regions of Japan. To spread population and investment more evenly, 75 such plans were met with fierce opposition. And then Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi decided to close parliamentary discussions in 2003, 76-77. The Agency for Cultural Affairs relocated from Kasumigaseki to Kyoto in 2023, making it the only central organ of the civil service to move out of Tokyo so far. 78. On September 7, 2013, the IOC selected Tokyo to host the 2020 Summer Olympics. Thus, Tokyo became the first Asian city to host the Olympic Games twice. 79. However, the 2020 Olympic Games were postponed and held from July 23 to August 8, 2021, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. 80. Under Japanese law, the prefecture of Tokyo is designated as a translated as metropolis. 81. Tokyo Prefecture is the most populous prefecture and the densest, with 6,100 inhabitants per square kilometer, 16,000 square mi. By geographic area, it is the third smallest, above only Osaka and Kagawa. Its administrative structure is similar to that of Japan's other prefectures. The 23 special wards, Takubetsuku, which until 1943 constituted the city of Tokyo, are self-governing municipalities, each having a mayor, a council, and the status of a city. In addition to these 23 special wards, Tokyo also includes 26 more cities -1, 5 towns, Sho or Maki, and 8 villages, Sun or Mura, each of which has a local government. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government administers the whole metropolis, including the 23 special wards and the cities and towns that constitute the prefecture. It is headed by a publicly elected governor and metropolitan assembly. Its headquarters is in Shinjuku Ward. The governor of Tokyo is elected every 4 years. The incumbent governor, Yuriko Koike, was elected in 2016 following the resignation of her predecessor, Yoichi Masuzo. She was re-elected in 2020 and 2024. The legislature of the metropolis is called the Metropolitan Assembly, and it has one house with 127 seats. The assembly is responsible for enacting and amending prefectural ordinances, approving the budget 8.5 trillion yen in fiscal 2024, 82 and voting on important administrative appointments made by the governor, including the vice-governors. Its members are also elected on a 4-year cycle, 83. Since the completion of the Great Mergers of Heisei in 2001, Tokyo consists of 62 municipalities, 23 special wards, 26 cities, 5 towns. All municipalities in Japan have a directly elected mayor and a directly elected assembly, each elected on independent 4-year cycles. The 23 special wards cover the area that had been Tokyo City until 1943. 30 other municipalities are located in the Tama area, and the remaining 9 are on Tokyo's outlying islands. The special wards, Takubetsuku of Tokyo, comprise the area formerly incorporated as Tokyo City. Each special ward has used the word city in its official English name in recent times, for example, Chiyoda City, but its status is more akin to boroughs in London or New York. Certain municipal functions, such as waterworks, sewerage, and firefighting, are handled by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government rather than each ward. To pay for the added administrative costs, the Metropolitan Government collects municipal taxes, which would usually be levied by each ward. 80 for the 3 central wards of Tokyo, Chiyoda, Chu, and Minato, are the business core of the city. With a daytime population more than 7 times higher than their nighttime population, 85 Chiyoda Ward is occupied by many major Japanese companies and is also the seat of the national government and the Emperor of Japan, yet is one of the least populated wards, 86. To the west of the special wards, Tokyo Metropolis consists of cities, towns, and villages that enjoy the same legal status as those. While serving as bed towns for those working in central Tokyo, some of them also have a local commercial and industrial base, such as Tachikawa. Collectively, these are often known as the Tama area or Western Tokyo. The far west of the Tama area is occupied by the district gun of Nishitama. Much of this area is mountainous and unsuitable for urbanization. The highest mountain in Tokyo, Mount Kumotori, is 2,017 meters, 6,617 feet high. Other mountains in Tokyo include Takanosu 1,737 meters, 5,699 feet, Odike 1,266 meters, 4,154 feet, and Mitake 900. Lake Okutama, on the Tama River near Yamanashi Prefecture, is Tokyo's largest lake and serves as the primary reservoir for Tokyo's water supply. The district is composed of 3 towns: Hinode, Mizuho, and Okutama, and 1 village, Hinohara. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government has designated Hachioji, Tachikawa, Machida, Yume, and Tama New Town as regional centers of the Tama area. 87. Tokyo has numerous outlying islands, which extend as far as 1,850 kilometers, 1,150 miles from central Tokyo. Because of the island's distance from the administrative headquarters of the Tokyo Metropolitan Government in Shinjuku, local subprefectural branch offices administer them. The Izu Islands are a group of volcanic islands and form part of the Fujiha-Kana-Izu National Park. The islands in order from closest to Tokyo are Izushima, Toshima, Niijima, Shikinjima, Kazushima, Miyakajima, Mikurajima, Hachiyojima, and Aogashima. The Izu Islands are grouped into 3 subprefectures. Izushima and Hakijojima are towns. The remaining islands are 6 villages, with Niijima and Shikinejima forming 1 village. The Ogasawara Islands include, from north to south, Shishijima, Nishinoshima, Hahajima, Kita-Iwo-jima, Iwo Jima, and Minami Iwo Jima. Ogasawara also administers to small outlying islands, Minami Torishima, the easternmost point in Japan, and at 1,850 kilometers, 1,150 miles the most distant island from central Tokyo, and Okinawa, the southernmost point in Japan, 88. Japan's claim on an exclusive economic zone EEZ surrounding Okinawa is contested by China and South Korea as they regard Okinawa as uninhabitable rocks, which have no EEZ. 89. The Iwo chain and the outlying islands have no permanent population, but hosts Japan's self-defense forces personnel. Local populations are only found in Shishijima and Hahajima. The islands form both Ogasawara subprefecture and the village of Ogasawara, Tokyo. Tokyo has enacted a measure to cut greenhouse gases. Governor Shintaro Ishihara created Japan's first emissions cap system, aiming to reduce greenhouse gas emission by a total of 25% by 2020 from the 2000 level. 91. Tokyo is an example of an urban heat island, and the phenomenon is especially serious in its special wards, 90 to 93. According to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, 94, the annual mean temperature has increased by about 3 degrees Celsius 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit over the past 100 years. Tokyo has been cited as a convincing example of the relationship between urban growth and climate, 92. In 2006, Tokyo enacted the 10-year project for Green Tokyo to be realized by 2016. It set a goal of increasing roadside trees in Tokyo to 1 million from 480,000 and adding 1,000 hectares, 2,500 acres of green space. 88 hectares, 220 acres, of which would be a new park named Yumi no Mori to replace a landfill, 95. From 2007 to 2010, for 136 hectares, 1,080 acres of the planned 1,000 hectares of green space was created and 220,000 trees were planted, bringing the total to 700,000. As of 2014, roadside trees in Tokyo have increased to 950,000, and a further 300 hectares, 740 acres of green space has been added, 96. In 2023, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government launched the Tokyo Green Biz Project, an initiative seeking to increase and preserve the city's greenery over the next 100 years, create an online map designed to increase collaboration between residents and the local government, and create and promote green infrastructure, 97. They have also increased the footage of parks, 98, and encouraged citizens to get involved in pond cleaning, tree planting, and working as park guides. In 2018, the Kasai Marine Park became the first wetland in Tokyo to be registered under the Ramsar Convention, 99. It opened in 1989, 100. Kasumigaseki left and Nagatacho right are used as metonyms for the Japanese civil service and the national diet, respectively. Tokyo is the seat of all three branches of government: the legislature, national diet, the executive cabinet led by the prime minister, and the judiciary Supreme Court of Japan, as well as the Emperor of Japan, the head of state. Most government ministries are concentrated in the Kasumigaseki district in Chiyoda, and the name Kasumigaseki is often used as a metonym for the Japanese National Civil Service. 101. Tokyo has 25 constituencies for the House of Representatives, 18 of which were won by the ruling Liberal Democrats and 7 by the main opposition, Constitutional Democrats, in the 2021 general election. 102. Apart from these seats, through the Tokyo Proportional Representation Bloc, Tokyo sends 17 more politicians to the House of Representatives, 6 of whom were members of the ruling LDP in the 2021 election. The Tokyo At-Large District, which covers the entire metropolis, sends 12 members to the House of Councillors. Tokyo is the founding member of the Asian Network of Major Cities, 21, and is a member of the Council of Local Authorities for International Relations. Tokyo was also a founding member of the C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group, 103. The mainland portion of Tokyo lies northwest of Tokyo, Bay and measures about 90 kilometers 56 miles east to west and 25 kilometers 16 miles north to south. The average elevation in Tokyo is 40 meters 131 feet. 100 for Chiba Prefecture borders it to the east, Yamanashi to the west, Kanagawa to the south, and Saitama to the north. Mainland Tokyo is further subdivided into the special wards occupying the eastern half and the Tama area stretching westwards. Tokyo has a latitude of 35.65 near the 36th parallel north, which makes it more southern than Rome 41.90, New York City 40.71, and Beijing 39.91, 105. Within the administrative boundaries of Tokyo metropolis are two island chains in the Pacific Ocean directly south, the Izu Islands and the Ogasawara Islands, which stretch more than 1,000 kilometers 620 miles away from the mainland. Because of these islands and the mountainous regions to the west, Tokyo's overall population density figures far underrepresent the real figures for the urban and suburban regions of Tokyo, 106. The former city of Tokyo and the majority of Tokyo Prefecture lie in the humid subtropical climate zone Giapan climate classification, CFA, 107 with hot, humid summers and mild to cool winters with occasional cold spells. The region, like much of Japan, experiences a one-month seasonal lag. The warmest month is August, which averages 26.9 degrees Celsius 80.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The coolest month is January, averaging 5.4 degrees Celsius 41.7 degrees Fahrenheit. The record low temperature was 9.2 degrees Celsius 15.4 degrees Fahrenheit on January 13, 1876. The record high was 39.5 degrees Celsius 103.1 degrees Fahrenheit on July 20, 2004. The record highest low temperature 30.4 degrees Celsius 86.7 degrees Fahrenheit on August 11, 2013, 108. Annual rainfall averages nearly 1,600 millimeters 63.0 in, with a wetter summer. The growing season in Tokyo lasts for about 322 days from around mid-February to early January, 109. Snowfall is sporadic and occurs almost annually, 110. Tokyo often sees typhoons every year, though few are strong. The wettest month since records began in 1876 was October 2004, with 780 millimeters 30 in of rain. 111 including 270.5 millimeters 10.65 in on the 9th of that month. 112. The most recent of 4 months on record to observe no precipitation is December 1995. 113 annual precipitation has ranged from 879.5 millimeters 34.63 in 1984 to 2,229.6 millimeters 87.78 in 1938. Tokyo is near the boundary of 3 plates, making it an extremely active region for smaller quakes and slippage, which frequently affect the urban area, with swaying as if in a boat. Although epicenters within mainland Tokyo, excluding Tokyo's 2,000 kilometers 1,243 miles, Long Island jurisdiction are quite rare. It is not uncommon in the metro area to have hundreds of these minor quakes magnitudes for 2.6 that can be felt in a single year, something residents merely brush off, but can be a source of anxiety not only for foreign visitors but for Japanese from elsewhere as well. They rarely cause much damage, sometimes a few injuries, as they are either too small or far away, as quakes tend to dance around the region. Particularly active are offshore regions and to a lesser extent Chiba and Ibaraki. 126. Tokyo has been hit by powerful megathrust earthquakes in 1703, 1782, 1812, 1855, 1923, and much more indirectly with some liquefaction in landfill zones in 2011. 127-128. The frequency of direct and large quakes is a relative rarity. The 1923 earthquake, with an estimated magnitude of 7.9, killed more than 100,000 people. The last time the urban area was directly hit, 129, 130, 131. Volcanic eruptions. Mount Fuji has posed the primary volcanic threat to Tokyo's citizens for centuries. Mount Fuji is about 100 kilometers, 62 miles, southwest of Tokyo. There is a low risk of eruption. The last recorded was the high eruption, which started on December 16, 1707, and ended about January 1, 1708, 16 days, 130 to during the high eruption. The ash amount was 4 centimeters in southern Tokyo Bay Area and 2 centimeters to 0.5 centimeters in central Tokyo, 133. Kanagawa had 16 centimeters to 8 centimeters ash, and Saitama 0.5 to 0 centimeters, 133. If the wind blows northeast, it could send volcanic ash to Tokyo metropolis, 134. According to the government, less than a millimeter of the volcanic ash from a Mount Fuji eruption could cause power grid problems, such as blackouts and stopped trains in the Tokyo metropolitan area. 130 for a mixture of ash with rain could stick to cell phone antennas and power lines and cause temporary power outages. 134. The affected areas would need to be evacuated. 134. Floods. Tokyo is located on the Kanto Plain with 5 river systems and dozens of rivers that expand during each season. 135 important rivers are Edogawa, Nakagawa, Arakawa, Kandagawa, Megurogawa, and Tamagawa. 136. In 1947, Typhoon Kathleen struck Tokyo, destroying 31,000 homes and killing 1,100 people. 135. In 1958, Typhoon Ida dropped 400 millimeters, 16 in of rain in a single week, causing streets to flood. 135. In the 1950s and 1960s, the government invested 6 to 7% of the national budget on disaster and risk reduction. 135. A huge system of dams, levees, and tunnels was constructed. 135. The purpose is to manage heavy rain, typhonic rain, and river floods. 135. The MAOUDC is the world's largest underground floodwater diversion facility. Tokyo has currently the world's largest underground floodwater diversion facility called the Metropolitan Area Outer Underground Discharge Channel MAOC. 137. 135. It took 13 years to build and was completed in 2006. The MAOC is a 6.3 kilometers, 3.9 miles long system of tunnels, 20 meters, 72 feet underground, with 70 meter, 230 feet tall cylindrical tanks. Each tank being large enough to fit a space shuttle or the Statue of Liberty. 135. During floods, excess water is collected from rivers and drained to the Edo River. 136. Low-lying areas of Kato, Edogawa, Sumida, Katsushika, Teitu, and Arakawa near the Arakawa River are most at risk of flooding. 136. Tokyo's buildings are too diverse to be characterized by any specific architectural style, but it can be generally said that a majority of extant structures were built in the past 100 years. 138. Twice in recent history has the metropolis been left in ruins. First in the 1923 Great Kanto earthquake and later after extensive firebombing in World War II. 138. A lookout tower at the Imperial Palace, formerly Edo Castle. The oldest known extant building in Tokyo is Shofukuji in Higashimurayama. The current building was constructed in 1407 during the Muromachi period 1336 to 1573. 139. Although greatly reduced in number by later fires, earthquakes, and air raids, a considerable number of Edo-era buildings survive to this day. The Tokyo Imperial Palace, which was occupied by the Tokugawa shogunate as Edo Castle during the Edo period 1603 to 1868, has many gates and towers dating from that era, although the main palace buildings and the Tenshu Tower have been lost. 140. Numerous temple and shrine buildings in Tokyo date from this era. The Ueno Toshigu still maintains the original 1651 building built by the third shogun Iemitsu Tokugawa. 141. Although partially destroyed during the Second World War, Zojoji, which houses the Tokugawa family mausoleum, still has grand Edo-era buildings such as the Sangadatsu Gate, 142. Kanji has grand 17th century buildings such as the 5-story pagoda and the Shimizudo. The Nezu Shrine and Gokokuji were built by the 5th shogun Tsunayoshi Tokugawa in the late 1600s. All feudal lords daimyo had large Edo houses where they stayed when in Edo. At one point, these houses amounted to half the total area of Edo, 143. None of the grand Edo-era daimyo houses still exist in Tokyo, as their vast land footprint made them easy targets for redevelopment programs for modernization during the Meiji period. Some gardens were immune from such fates and are today open to the public. Hamarikyu Kofu Tokugawa family, Shibarikyu Kishu Tokugawa family, Koishikawa Kurakun Mido Tokugawa family, Rikugin Yanagisawa family, and Higo Hosokawa Garden Hosokawa family. The Akaman, which is now widely seen as a symbol of the University of Tokyo, was originally built to commemorate the marriage of a shogun's daughter into the Maeda clan, one of the most affluent of the feudal lords, while the campus itself occupies their former Edo estate, 144. The Meiji era saw a rapid modernization in architectural styles as well, until the Great Kanto earthquake in 1923 exposed their weakness to seismic shocks. Grand brick buildings were constantly Tokyo Station 1914, the Ministry of Justice Building 1895, the International Library of Children's Literature 1906, and Mitsubishi Building 1 1894, rebuilt in 2010, are some of the few brick survivors from this period. It was regarded as fashionable by some members of the Japanese aristocracy to build their Tokyo residences in grand and modern styles, and some of these buildings still exist, although most are in private hands and open to the public on limited occasions. Aristocratic residences today open to the public include the Marquis Maeda residence in Komaba, the Baron Iwasaki residence in Ikenohata, and the Baron Furukawa residence in Nishigahara. National Diet Building, built between 1920 and 1936. The Great Kanto earthquake in 1923 ushered in an era of concrete architecture, 145. Surviving reinforced concrete buildings from this era include the Meiji Insurance Headquarters completed in 1934, the Mitsui Headquarters 1929, Mitsukoshi Nihon Bashi Flagship Store 1914, refurbished in 1925, Takashimaya Nihon Bashi Flagship Store 1932, Wako in Ginza 1932 and Isatan Shinjuku Flagship Store 1933. This spread of earthquake and fire-resistant architecture reached council housing too, most notably the Junkai Apartments, 146. The 1930s saw the rise of styles that combined characteristics of both traditional Japanese and modern designs. Chuda Ito was a leading figure in this movement, and his extant works in Tokyo include Tsukiji Hongan G 1934. The Imperial Crown style, which often features Japanese-style roofs on top of elevated concrete structures, was adopted for the Tokyo National Museum in Ueno and the Kyuden Hall in Kudan Minami, 147. Since the 30-meter height restriction was lifted in the 1960s, Tokyo's most dense areas have been dominated by skyscrapers. As of May 2024, at least 184 buildings are exceeding 150 meters for 192 feet in Tokyo. Apart from these, Tokyo Tower 333 meters and Tokyo Skytree 634 meters feature high-elevation observation decks. The latter is the tallest tower in both Japan and the world, and the third tallest structure in the world, 14 with a scheduled completion date in 2027. Torch Tower 385 meters will overtake Azabu Dai Hill's Mori JP Tower 325.2 meters as the tallest. Kenzo Tange designed notable contemporary buildings in Tokyo, including Yoyogi National Gymnasium 1964, St. Mary's Cathedral 1967, and the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building 1991. Kisho Kurokawa was also active in the city, and his works there include the National Art Center 2005 and the Nakagan Capsule Tower 1972. Other notable contemporary buildings in Tokyo include the Tokyo Dome, Gakuen Cocoon Tower, Roppongi Hills, Tokyo International Forum, and Asahi Beer Hall. Japanese is the primary language spoken throughout the metropolis, though regional and socio-economic differences can be heard. Traditionally, dialects in Tokyo are classified into two groups, the Yamato dialect and the Shitamachi dialect. The former has traditionally been spoken in the upper and upper-middle-class residential area of Yamato, which includes Bancho, Kojimaki, Koishikawa, Kyuden, Yotsuya, Azabu, and Akasaka. During the Edo period, these neighborhoods were occupied by daimyo and other powerful samurai families, and the dialect evolved largely based on their way of speech. Standard Japanese pronunciation is largely based on this accent and spread across the country with the introduction of radio. The Shitamachi dialect, in contrast, has been associated with the Chunin district of Shitamachi and retains many characteristics of the accents spoken there in the Edo era. 157. However, socioeconomic changes in the post-war period and the large influx of people moving from other areas have largely blurred these distinctions in recent years. It has been reported that young generations are not as aware of the differences in dialects as their parents' and grandparents' generations were. 158. The Hachiyu dialect, spoken primarily in Hakijima and Aogashima, descended from 6th-8th century Eastern Old Japanese and has fewer than 1,000 speakers. 159-160 Bonin English is a Creole spoken in the Ogasawara Islands. Derived from English and Japanese. 161 As the island's population historically consisted of people of Japanese, British, American, Hawaiian, and Polynesian origins, mostly mixed race. 162. Sector breakdown of the 2021 GDP of Tokyo. Tokyo's gross regional product was 113.7 trillion yen, or 1.04 trillion United States dollars in FY 2021 and accounted for 20.7% of the country's total economic output, which converts to 8.07 million yen, or 73,820 United States dollars per capita. 16 by sector. Wholesale and retail was the largest contributor, accounting for 21.5% of the total output. This was followed by real estate 13.5%, professional, scientific and technical 12.2%, information and communications 11.7%, finance and insurance 7.6%, manufacturing 7.0%, and healthcare 6.7%. Agriculture, forestry and fishery, and mining combined accounted for less than 0.1% of the economic output. 163. As these numbers suggest, Tokyo's economy is heavily dependent on the tertiary sector. As the Greater Tokyo area, it has the second largest metropolitan economy in the world, after Greater New York, with a gross metropolitan product estimated at $1 trillion United States dollars. The area's economy is slightly smaller than Canada's economy while being slightly larger than Mexico's, according to IMF estimates from the same year. 164. Tokyo's business districts are concentrated in four central wards: Chiyoda Marunouchi, Otemachi, Kasumigaseki, Kuonihonbashi, Kyobashi, Yaesu, Minato Shimbashi, Shiodome, Toranomon, and Shinjuku West Shinjuku. The 23 special wards of Tokyo had 73.5 million square meters of office space as of January 2022. 165. In 2023, 29 of the Fortune Global 500 companies were headquartered in Tokyo, which was the second highest concentration in the world after Beijing. 166. Notably, around 20 of them are based in Marunouchi, such as MUFG, Mitsubishi Corp. Tokyo was rated by the Economist Intelligence Unit as the most expensive highest cost of living city in the world for 14 years in a row, ending in 2006, when it was replaced by Oslo, and later Paris. 168. 169. However, years of deflation, and an extremely weak yen starting in 2020 due to Japan's low interest rates made the cost of living in Tokyo 31% cheaper than in New York City in 2023, which is roughly the same as in Beijing and Manchester according to the 2023 EIU rankings, 170. Finance. Tokyo is a major international finance center, housing the headquarters of several of the world's largest investment banks and insurance companies, and serves as a hub for Japan's transportation, publishing, electronics, and broadcasting industries. 171 During the centralized growth of Japan's economy following World War II, many large firms moved their headquarters from cities such as Osaka, the historical commercial capital, to Tokyo in an attempt to take advantage of better access to the government. The Tokyo Stock Exchange, Tokyo emerged as a leading international financial center (IFC) in the 1960s and has been described as one of the three command centers for the world economy, along with New York City and London, 172. In the 2020 Global Financial Centers Index, Tokyo was ranked as having the fourth most competitive financial center in the world, and second most competitive in Asia after Shanghai, 173. Mitsubishi UFJ, Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, Mizuho Financial Group, all among the top 20 banks in the world by total assets in 2023, are headquartered in Tokyo. The Japanese financial market opened up slowly in 1980 and accelerated its internationalization with the Japanese Big Bang in 1998, 174. Despite the emergence of Singapore and Hong Kong as competing financial centers, the Tokyo IFC manages to keep a prominent position in Asia. The Tokyo Stock Exchange is Japan's largest stock exchange and third largest in the world by market capitalization, and the fourth largest by share turnover. In 1990, at the end of the Japanese asset price bubble, it accounted for more than 60% of the world stock market value, 175. Fuji Broadcasting Center, headquarters of Fuji Television. Tokyo's position as the country's cultural, political, and economic hub has made its media industry the largest in Japan. A majority of national media companies are headquartered in Tokyo, as well as the Asian or Japanese branches of international media companies. The NHK, the oldest and only nationwide public broadcaster in the country, is headquartered in Shibuya. Other national broadcasters, 176 such as TBS, Nippon Television, Fuji Television, and TV Asahi, are also based in Tokyo. Of the 5 major national newspapers, 176. The Nikkei, the Mainichi, and the Yomiuri are headquartered in Tokyo, while the other 2, the Asahi and the Sankei, maintain head offices both in Tokyo and Osaka. Major publishers based in Tokyo include Shusha, Kodansha, Kadokawa, Shogakukan, Bungai Shinju, Shinshosha, and Iwanami Shoten, with a high concentration in Chiyoda and Shinjuku. Dentsu, Hakuhodo, and ADK Holdings, all based in Tokyo, are the country's largest advertising agencies. All 3 major telecommunications companies in Japan, namely NTT, whose market capitalization was once the largest among all publicly traded companies in the world, 70 to KDDI, and SoftBank, are based in Tokyo. Tokyo is also a major hub for anime production, with major anime studios such as Studio Ghibli, Madhouse, A1 Pictures, Mapper, Wit Studio, Toei, and Shaft based particularly in the west of the metropolis. The Toyosu market in Tokyo is the largest wholesale fish and seafood market in the world since it opened on October 11, 2018. 180. It is also one of the largest wholesale food markets of any kind. It is located in the Toyosu area of Kata Ward. The Toyosu market holds strong to the traditions of its predecessor, the Tsukiji Fish Market and Nihon Bashi Fish Market, and serves some 50,000 buyers and sellers every day. Retailers, wholesalers, auctioneers, and public citizens alike frequent the market, creating a unique microcosm of organized chaos that continues to fuel the city and its food supply after over for centuries. 181. Tokyo had 8,460 hectares, 20,900 acres of agricultural land as of 2003, 182 according to the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, placing it last among the nation's prefectures. The farmland is concentrated in western Tokyo. Perishables such as vegetables, fruits, and flowers can be conveniently shipped to the markets in the eastern part of the prefecture. With 36% of its area covered by forest, Tokyo has extensive growths of cryptomeria and Japanese cypress, especially in the mountainous western communities of Akaruno, Yume, Okutama, Hachioji. Decreases in the price of timber, increases in the cost of production, and advancing old age among the forestry population have resulted in a decline in Tokyo's output. In addition, pollen, especially from cryptomeria, is a major allergen for the nearby population centers. Tokyo Bay was once a major source of fish. Most of Tokyo's fish production comes from the outer islands, such as Izushima and Hachijima. Skipjack tuna, nori, and the G are among the ocean products. Citation needed. Transportation. Main article, Transport in Greater Tokyo. Tokyo, which is the center of the Greater Tokyo area, is Japan's largest domestic and international hub for rail and ground transportation. Public transportation within Tokyo is dominated by an extensive network of clean and efficient 183 trains and subways run by a variety of operators, with buses, monorails, and trams playing a secondary feeder role. There are up to 62 electric train lines and more than 900 train stations in Tokyo, 184. Shibuya Crossing is the world's busiest pedestrian crossing, with around 3,000 people crossing at a time, 185, 186, 187. Rail. Junior East operates the largest commuter train network in Tokyo as well as intercity services. The Shinkansen connects major cities around the country to Tokyo. Rail is the primary mode of transportation in Tokyo, 188, which has the most extensive urban railway network in the world and an equally extensive network of surface lines. JR East operates Tokyo's largest railway network, including the Yamato line loop that circles central Tokyo. It operates rail lines throughout the entire metropolitan area of Tokyo and the rest of northeastern Honshu. Junior East is also responsible for the Shinkansen high-speed rail lines that link Tokyo and the northeastern cities of Japan. Jotsu Shinkansen, Tohoku, Hokkaido Shinkansen, Yamagata Shinkansen, Akita Shinkansen, Hokuriku Shinkansen, 189. The Tokaido Shinkansen, which links Tokyo and Osaka via Nagoya and Kyoto, as well as western cities beyond, is operated by Junior Central. The Kuo Shinkansen, the first ever long-distance high-speed floating maglev line currently under construction, will also be operated by Junior Central. Both junior companies were created from the privatization of Japan National Railways in 1987. JR Freight does not own any part of the railway network, but operates freight trains on the Junior network. Two different entities operate Tokyo's underground railway network: the privatized Tokyo Metro, which operates Tokyo Metro lines, and the governmental Tokyo Metropolitan Bureau of Transportation, which operates Toei lines. Tokyo Metro is entirely owned by the Japanese government and the Tokyo Metropolitan Government since it was privatized in 2000, for it was previously a public entity called the Imperial Capital Rapid Transit Authority from 1941 to 2004. But it is scheduled to go public in 2024. 190 other major railway operators in Tokyo include Odakyu, Tokyu, Keio, Seibu, Tobu, and Kaisei. Although each operator directly owns its railway lines, services that travel across different lines owned by different operators are common. Tokyo once had an extensive tram network, with a total distance of 213 kilometers Tokyo-Toden. However, similar to other major cities worldwide, the age of motorization since the 1950s has made it considered unfit to share busy roads with cars. Today, only one line, the Arakawa line, remains. 191. Roads. Tokyo has the lowest car ownership rate among all prefectures in Japan, with 0.416 cars per household compared to the national average of 1.025 per household. This is despite Tokyo being one of the most affluent areas in the country, with a nominal GDP per capita of around 75,000 United States dollars, 192. A 2021 survey found that 81% of respondents without a car were satisfied with public transport and saw no need to own one, 193. Each road in Tokyo falls into one of the following categories depending on the type of ownership: private roads, municipal roads, metropolitan roads, and expressways. As of April 1, 2022, the total length of roads in Tokyo is approximately 24,741 kilometers, including 2,370 kilometers of metropolitan roads, with a total area of approximately 190.31 square kilometers, including 46.30 square kilometers of metropolitan roads. 190 for intercity expressways in and around Tokyo are managed by Nexco East, while expressways that serve only within the Greater Tokyo Area Shudo Expressway are operated by the Metropolitan Expressway Company. Tolls are collected based on the distance traveled. The total length of the Shudo Expressway is 337.8 kilometers, with speed limits usually set at 80 kilometers per hour or 60 kilometers per hour to reduce noise pollution and accommodate the relatively winding road shapes. 195. Aerial view of Haneda Airport. The mainland portion of Tokyo is served by two international airports, Haneda Airport in TTA and Narita International Airport in neighboring Chiba Prefecture. Haneda has served as the primary airport for Tokyo since 1931. However, the jet age saw an exponential increase in flights, prompting the government to build a second airport. Narita was chosen as the site for this second airport in 1966, but local farmers and left-wing activists who sympathized with them protested vehemently for more than a decade. The Sanrizuka struggle, delaying the new airport's opening until 1978. Almost all international flights were transferred to Narita Airport upon its completion, and Haneda became primarily a domestic airport. 196. The situation changed when it was decided to expand Haneda Airport and build new runways in 2001. The new runway, Runway D, was constructed partly as a pier-like structure rather than a land-filled structure to avoid obstructing the flow of water in the bay. 197. Its opening in 2010 marked the return of international flights to Haneda, which is much closer to central Tokyo. In 2023, Haneda handled 17.9 million international passengers and 60.8 million domestic passengers. 198. While Narita was used by 25.4 million international passengers and 7.7 million domestic passengers. 199. According to a 2023 survey, Haneda is the fifth busiest airport in the world by passenger traffic. Hachiujima Airport, Kazushima Airport, Miyake-jima Airport, Nijima Airport, and Izushima Airport, located on the Izu Islands, which are governed by the Tokyo metropolis, have services to Haneda and the Shofu Airport located in Shofu, a jetfoil operated by the Tokai Kisen, which serves between Tokyo and the Izu Islands. Water transport is the primary means of importing and exporting goods as well as connecting the Tokyo Islands to the mainland. According to Lloyd's List, the Port of Tokyo handled 4,430,000 TEU of containers in 2022, making it the 46th largest port in the world. 200. The Greater Tokyo area is served by other major ports, such as the Port of Yokohama and the Port of Chiba as well. Takashiba Pier in Minato is used by Tokai Kisen, which serves islands such as Izushima, Miyake-jima, Hakijojima, Kozushima. 201. And Ogasawara Kaien, which serves the Ogasawara Islands. 200. To many of these islands are accessible only by ocean routes and helicopters, as they are too small or undulating for a landing ground, making these ships the primary means of inter-island transport. There are ferry routes that connect landmarks within the mainland portion of Tokyo as well. The Tokyo cruise ship and the Tokyo Mizubline operate several routes between tourist attractions such as Asakusa, Hamarikyu, Odaiba, and Shinagawa Aquarium. 203. The Symphony Cruise operates 2 large restaurant ships that can also be hired as party venues. 204. Tokyo is the educational, academic, and cultural hub of Japan. From primary to tertiary levels, numerous educational institutions operate in the city to cater to a diverse range of pupils and students. Tokyo is the heartland of tertiary education in the country, home to 143 authorized universities in 2020. 205. This number includes the nation's most prestigious and selective universities, such as the University of Tokyo QS National, 1st, Tokyo Institute of Technology 4th, Hitatsubashi University 15th, Waseda University 9th, and Keio University 10th. 206. Additionally, Tokyo University of the Arts is widely regarded as the most prestigious painting, sculpture, crafts, and music school in the country. 207. The United Nations University, which is the academic arm of the United Nations, is headquartered in Shibuya, Tokyo. In 2024, QS Best Student Cities ranked Tokyo as the 2nd best city for university students, after London. 208. The ranking noted that Tokyo ideal for those who favor total immersion in local culture rather than living in a student bubble, stating that despite having high-ranking universities and large global companies offering internships as well as rich culture, Tokyo still has a very low international student population ratio. 209. Hibiya High School, Chiyoda, at the secondary level, 429 senior high schools are located in Tokyo, 6 of which are national, 186 are public, and 237 are private. 210. Some senior high schools, often prestigious national or private ones, run jointly with their affiliated junior high schools, providing 6-year educational programs. Churuk-iken Kyoku. The Kaisei Academy, 211 Komaba Junior and Senior High School, University of Tsukuba, 212 Azabo High School, and Oin Junior and Senior High School. 213. The largest sources of successful applicants to the nation's top university, the University of Tokyo. 214 are some examples of such. At the primary level, there are 1332 elementary schools in Tokyo. 6 of them are national, 1261 are public, and 53 are private. 210. Early modern established academies, such as Gakushuin and Keio, provide all-through educational programs from primary schools to universities. Originally to cater to the needs of traditionally affluent and powerful families, 215. There are international and ethnic schools that abide by the national curricula of their respective countries, or international curricula rather than the Japanese one as well, such as the British School in Tokyo, Tokyo Chinese School, the American School in Japan, and the Tokyo International School. Learned societies. Almost all major Japanese learned societies are based in Tokyo. The Japan Academy, the country's Academy of Sciences, was established in 1879 to bring together leading scholars in various disciplines. 216. The Japan Art Academy was established in 1919 with a similar purpose. 217. These 2 national academies are headquartered in Ueno Park. The newest national academy, the Science Council of Japan, was established in 1949 to promote scientific research and the application of research findings to civilian life. It is located in Roppongi, Minato, Tokyo Sea Life Park, Edogawa. See also List of museums in Tokyo. Tokyo is home to a wide array of museums, art galleries, and libraries catering to various interests. Ueno Park has the Tokyo National Museum, the country's largest museum specializing in traditional Japanese art. 218. The National Museum of Western Art, whose building designed by Le Corbusier is a World Heritage Site. 219. And the National Museum of Nature and Science. Ueno Zoo is also located within the park, near the Shinobazu Pond. It is famous for being one of the 3 zoos in Japan that have giant pandas, with a population of 4 as of May 2024. 220 other notable museums include the Artisan Museum in Chu, the National Museum of Emerging Science and Innovation in Odaiba, and the Edo Tokyo Museum in Sumida, which provides insights into the history and culture of Tokyo. The Edo Tokyo Open Air Architectural Museum preserves various buildings that have existed throughout the history of Tokyo. The Nezu Museum in Ayama has a collection of pre-modern Japanese and East Asian art. Located near the Imperial Palace, the National Diet Library, the National Archives, and the National Museum of Modern Art are also notable cultural institutions. Additionally, the Mori Art Museum in Roppongi and the Sumida Hokusai Museum in Sumida Ward are notable for their contemporary and ukiyo-e art collections, respectively. The Sampo Museum of Art in Shinjuku is best known for owning one of Van Gogh's sunflowers. The Tokyo Metropolitan Garden Art Museum, the Minato, features the former Tokyo House of Yasuhiko, Prince Asaka, which was built in an opulent Art Deco style in 1933. The Railway Museum, which used to be located in Kanda, has relocated to a larger site in Omiya, Saitama, and stores 40 train carriages and locomotives of historical importance. 221 The Tobacco and Salt Museum in Sumida has one of the world's most extensive collections of different types of tobacco and salt. Major aquariums in Tokyo include Shinagawa Aquarium, Tokyo Sea Life Park, Sunshine Aquarium, and Sumida Aquarium. Kabukicho, a nightlife district in Shinjuku. Tokyo offers a diverse array of leisure and entertainment options. The city is home to numerous theaters. The National No Theater and Kabuki-za are dedicated to traditional Japanese plays. The new National Theater Tokyo in Shibuya serves as a central venue for opera, ballet, contemporary dance, and drama. 222 other major play and concert venues include the National Theater of Japan, the Imperial Theater, the Meiji-za, the NHK Hall, the Tokyo Metropolitan Theater, Tokyo Opera City, and the Tokyo International Forum. To sports venues, the Nippon Budokan and the Tokyo Dome are usually used to host concerts by popular pop artists. 223. The nightlife district of Tokyo is centered around areas in the west of the city, such as Shibuya, Shinjuku, and Roppongi, with a high concentration of bars, clubs, host and hostess clubs, and live music venues. 224. Tokyo is also known for its festivals, such as the Sanmatsuri at High Shrine, the Sanja Festival at Asakusa Shrine, and the biennial Kanda Matsuri, which features parades with elaborately decorated floats. Harajuku, located in Shibuya, is internationally famous for its youth fashion and street culture, with trendy shops, cafes, and Takashita Street. 225. Akihabara, known as Electric Town, is a hub for electronics and otaku culture such as anime and computer games, with numerous shops selling anime, manga, and gaming merchandise. 226. Ginza and Nihonbashi are two of Tokyo's most notable shopping districts. Ginza is known for its high-end shopping, featuring luxury brand stores, boutique shops, and department stores such as Mitsukoshi and Wacko. It is also home to numerous fine dining places and art galleries, making it a cultural and commercial hub. Nihonbashi, historically a center of commerce, has long-established shops and the Mitsukoshi department flagship store, Japan's first department store, founded in 1673. 227. Jinbucho is known for its concentration of bookstores, publishing houses, and literary cafes, and its links to a large number of famous literary figures. 228. Modern attractions in Tokyo include the Tokyo Skytree in Sumida, the tallest structure in Japan, which provides panoramic views of the city from its observation decks. Odaiba, a man-made island in Tokyo Bay, features shopping, dining, and entertainment attractions, such as the TeamLab Planet's Digital Art Museum and Joypolis Indoor Amusement Park. 229. The Tokyo Disney Resort and its two theme parks, Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo DisneySea, are major destinations for family entertainment. Although these Disney theme parks bear the name Tokyo, They are located in nearby Urayasu, Chiba, just east of Tokyo. Food. In November 2007, Michelin released their first guide for fine dining in Tokyo, awarding 191 stars in total, or about twice as many as Tokyo's nearest competitor, Paris. As of 2017, 227 restaurants in Tokyo have been awarded 92 in Paris. 12 establishments were awarded the maximum of 3 stars. Paris has 10, 50 for received 2 stars, and 161 earned 1 star, 230. Recreation. Ogasawara National Park, a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site. Natural settings for outdoor activities include Okutama and Mount Takao, which are known for their hiking trails and scenic views. Kasai Seaside Park provides coastal leisure activities. Ueno Park houses several museums and a zoo, and is famous for its cherry blossoms. Inokashira Park in Kikijoji features a pond, a zoo, and in its vicinity, the Ghibli Museum. Yoyogi Park, located near Shibuya, is popular for picnics and outdoor events. Shinjuku Gyeon National Garden, Koishikawa Kurakun Garden, Rikugin Garden, Hamarikyu Gardens, Hiyosumi Garden, Kyushiba Rikyu Garden, Shinzanso Garden, Hapoen Garden, 231 Mukujimahai Akane Garden and Meiji Jingu Inner Garden are popular traditional Japanese gardens in Tokyo, some of which originally belonged to members of the Kazoku nobility. Botanical gardens in Tokyo include the University of Tokyo's Koishikawa Botanical Garden, the Umenoshima Tropical Greenhouse Dome, and the Institute for Nature Study Nature Reserve. National parks. As of March 31, 2008, 36% of the total land area of the prefecture was designated as natural parks, second only to Shiga Prefecture, namely the Chichibu Tamakai, Fujiha Kanezu, and Ogasawara National Park, the last a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Meiji no Mori Takao Quasi-National Park, and Akikawa Kairyu, Hammer Kusabana Kairyu, Sayama, Takao Jinba, Takayama, and Tamakairu Prefectural Natural Parks, 232 in popular culture. Consumer electronic stores in Tokyo. In 1971, the city lights at night urban landscape of Tokyo inspired the development of the cyberpunk genre. 233. Tokyo has long been a popular setting in both Japanese and Western creative works. In literature, the city has featured since the Edo period, while the modern city appears in the works of authors such as Natsume Seki and Moragai, who depicted life in Tokyo during the industrialization period in famous novels such as Sanshiro 1908 and The Wild Geese 1911. They spent their undergraduate days at Tokyo University, and many protagonists of such novels are students who moved to Tokyo for higher education, contrasting Tokyo with their hometowns. 230 for 235. In later years, writers who have used Tokyo as the setting for their major works include Yasunari Kawabata, who depicted the decadent allure of Tokyo in the 1930s in his series The Scarlet Gang of Asakusa, 1930. 236 Kenzaburo, who centered his early works around turbulent political movements in the city in the 1960s. 237 and Haruki Murakami, who has set many of his works in Shinjuku and Shibuya as symbols of youth culture, well as urban loneliness. Western authors have also set their literary works in Tokyo, such as Ian Fleming's James Bond series novel You Only Live Twice and David Mitchell's No. 9 Dream. The city has also appeared frequently in film and television. Japanese directors like Akira Kurosawa and Yasujiro Ozu have used Tokyo as the backdrop for narratives that examine post-war change and the complexities of modern society. In the kaiju monster movie genre, landmarks of Tokyo are usually destroyed by giant monsters such as Godzilla and Gamera. 238 Western films. From earlier examples such as Tokyo Joe to more recent titles like Lost in Translation and The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift often depict Tokyo as an exotic urban landscape where cultures intersect. In addition, Tokyo appears frequently in anime, manga, and video games, where its real and reimagined districts provide the setting for stories ranging from realistic dramas to fantastical adventures. Japan National Stadium, Tokyo, with a diverse array of sports, is home to two professional baseball teams, the Yomiuri Giants, who play at the Tokyo Dome, and Tokyo Yakult Swallows at Meiji Jingu Stadium. The Japan Sumo Association is also headquartered in Tokyo at the Ryogoku Kakagikan Sumo Arena, where 3 official sumo tournaments are held annually in January, May, and September. Soccer clubs in Tokyo include FC Tokyo and Tokyo Verdy, both of which play at Ajinomoto Stadium in Shofu, and Machida Zelvia at Machida Gion Stadium in Machida. Rugby union is also played in Tokyo, with multiple Japan Rugby League 1 clubs based in the city including Black Rams Tokyo Setagaya, Tokyo Sangoliath Fuker, and Toshiba Brave Lupus Tokyo Fuker. Basketball teams include the Hitachi Sun Rockers, Toyota Alvark Tokyo, and Tokyo Excellence. Tokyo hosted the 1960 Summer Olympics, thus becoming the first Asian city to host the Summer Games. The National Stadium, also known as the Olympic Stadium, was host to several international sporting events. In 2016, it was to be replaced by the new National Stadium. With several world-class sports venues, Tokyo often hosts national and international sporting events such as basketball tournaments, women's volleyball tournaments, tennis tournaments, swim meets, marathons, rugby union and sevens rugby games, soccer exhibition games, judo, and karate. Tokyo Metropolitan Gymnasium in Sendagire, Shibuya, is a large sports complex that includes swimming pools, training rooms, and a large indoor arena. According to Around the Rings, the gymnasium has played host to the October 2011 Artistic Gymnastics World Championships. Despite the International Gymnastics Federation's initial doubt in Tokyo's ability to host the championships after the triple disaster hit Japan, 239. Tokyo was also selected to host several games for the 2019 Rugby World Cup and to host the 2020 Summer Olympics and Paralympics, which had to be rescheduled to the summer of 2021 due to COVID-19 pandemic.